just a little hello. Hello. Hold on. I'm coming. I need to get this up. I just finished Mikey's interview. So we are done with that process. Just in time to hop on. So hello. But I have to get you up here so I can see you. Ooh, wow. And I haven't brushed my hair in a while. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Hello. Hi, Stephen. Okay. Welcome. So this is the last shadow work video, at least of this season. We had talked about it a little bit at the shadow work check-in on Thursday, I guess it was. Wow, I so need to brush my hair. Hold on. I'm just going to redo this really quickly while we're talking because, oh my gosh, the fuzzies are real. Hi, Emma. So if you missed it, and I meant to like put a whole bunch of things up in the event page to say, just so you know, this is the last shadow work video and that kind of thing, but I did not. It has been nonstop busy since then, still a little bit. But here we are, and this is the last shadow work video for the season anyway. When I do shadow work, for one thing, I usually try to have my shadow work done by Yule, because to me it's like a new beginning kind of thing. And I talked about a bit on the shadow work check-in video that this has been, I have run into a couple of like not snags, but shadows that I did not expect. And it was harder for me than I anticipated this time around. And I think part of that is just the busyness that has been the season. And so it's time to end the shadow work so that we can move forward with other things. So this was a good place actually for us to end, a very good place for us to end, because we're going to be talking about energetic cords and what they have to do with shadow work and how you begin to let those cords go. Which is a big deal when you're doing shadow work to recognize that we have these cords and to learn how to disconnect from the cords that we have brought up. Many times when you're doing shadow work, you bring up these things and then you suddenly realize I'm holding on to these cords, and that's not the point of shadow work, is to bring them up so they hang on to you like, death grips. After I did that memories from childhood page, I had enough material to last a good long time. Yes, right? And sometimes that's good. Absolutely. But it's kind of like good enough to say, whew, okay. That's all I can deal with for a little while, right? And we definitely need to know. Hi, Rosie. We definitely need to know when to call it quits, when to say, okay, this is enough shadow for a while. I definitely need a break with this stuff. That doesn't mean that you can't move on a little bit or, move forward in a different way. Hi, Groon. How are you? But it does mean that sometimes it is a good thing to recognize when you need a break, when you need to quit for a while. And understand, I don't like to use the word quit because it makes it sound like we didn't do enough, like we're settling for work that is substandard. And that's not the case. With shadow work, you go until you have reached a point that you've learned what you need to learn for right now, and that you have reached a point that you can say, okay, my psyche that's it. My psyche's had enough now. My spirit has had enough, and I have grown some, and I'm happy with the growth that I have done so far. And it's a point that I need to stop now. And that is awesome. It is awesome to recognize that point and to be able to say, that's it. It's okay. So let's talk. Oops, I'm looking for glasses that aren't there because I did my hair. Whoops. Let's talk about energetic cords a bit. And again, I have been using, it's funny, this book I will be pulling out and moving forward still with this book in particular, more than the journal that I bought for this. We've only gone through, this is Tarot for Troubled Times. We've only gone through the first part 1 of this book. So there's a lot more work left to do. When we decide to go back to shadow work, probably next year, I'll probably be picking up this book again because there's a lot of, it's really a great book for this kind of work. I really have enjoyed what I found in this book. Energetic cords. When we are working with shadow work, we have these energetic cords that come up. We want to identify the attachments that deplete our energy. It is our currency. The energy is our currency with the universe. And we have to understand that we can only give up so much currency. Hi, Estelle. We can only give up so much. We only have so much to give. And then it's time to, replenish. Hi, Doug. And so you attach to and invest in anything that you hold a strong emotion for. That's not to say that daily mundane things don't yield energetic cords, but these things, they don't tend to stick. So the things that stick are usually the things that either A, really bother us, or B, really feed us. So we have to know what cords we are attached to at the time. Negative energetic cords are those that essentially deplete your energy on a consistent basis. Okay, we all have stuff that has to happen that depletes our energy, sometimes even daily. If we have jobs that we go to that somewhat deplete our energy, that has to happen sometimes. But we need to recognize what ones we can let go of. Okay, so that's what we're talking about tonight, is those negative energetic cords. When you attach to something or allow something to attach to you that is not in your best interest, it will drain your vitality. Most of the time, this is happening unconsciously. But with a little dedication, you can begin to perceive these connections. Please do not let this make you feel guilty. We should say that in big, big letters. Do not let this make you feel guilty. Once again, part of shadow work is learning to accept what is. And none of this should bring up guilt. This is the point of shadow work, is not to bring up our faults and say how horrible we are. It is to bring up things that we might be able to work on, things that we might be able to change, things that we might be able to recognize a little bit differently and learn to deal with a little bit differently. But it is never going to be to guilt ourselves into, how awful you are, how you need to do things better. That is not going to help at all, not even a little. We are all multidimensional beings, and we cannot possibly keep up with every facet of our existence. Shadows are cast when we are human. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. We can only work to be as aware as we possibly can. We have to allow ourselves to understand we're not going to be able to catch everything. We're just not. That's not in our DNA. That's not in our nature. This is what dictates our energetic story. Your energetic story is a culmination of your thoughts, ideas, and feelings about how you fit into the world and how the world responds to you. So signs of negative energetic cords. If you have negative energetic cords that are attached to you, here are some signs. Suddenly or chronically feeling tired, drained, or fatigued. Anybody? Woohoo! Ding, 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 right? Insomnia. Woohoo! Sunbursts of anger. Altercations and conflicts. Miscommunications. Physical pain in the body. Depression. Anxiety. Yep. Blocks in key areas of your life. Yep. Feeling off kilter. Yep. So all of those things are signs that we have negative energetic cords that we are allowing to drain from us. And again, sometimes it is stuff that we cannot help, that we just have to understand that it's there and try to disconnect as best we can. Again, if I think of the healthcare workers now, and I it's funny, I started to think that things were getting better in the healthcare worker part, but apparently that is really not the case. There was just a news, a local news thing about our hospital system in my area and how every single bed is taken up. There was, as of 6 p.m. yesterday, we have 4 hospitals in the area, and there was 1 available bed open in the ICU. 1 out of 4 hospitals, there's 1 available bed. So I feel those I must be suppling a horde, you poor thing. So again, the poor healthcare workers have got to be just exhausted by now. I'm so glad that I got out when I did, because I can't imagine. I know Benny was here this morning, and he's having a very hard time. He works at a long-term care facility, and he's just having a very, very hard time because they are short-staffed and they are overworked and overwhelmed. So they are really going through it. And those people, they cannot let go of all their negative energetic cords because that's their job. They have to go back to that every day. So send them some of your energy if you can. Thusly exposed, it doesn't. Oh, you poor thing. Poor thing. It is just cuckoo out there. And it just seems to be continuing. So it is. Send healthcare workers some energy, because I just can't imagine having to deal with it on a daily basis when everything is so short. And it just doesn't seem to be getting better. Hi, Laura. Energetic cords can exist for years. Understand that you can have cords that have been attached to you for years without you realizing it. Others are created and destroyed moment to moment. Anytime you are making an energetic exchange, you are forming an energetic cord. Simply put, this is the mechanics of energy transfer. Energetic cords are pipelines for communicating back and forth. Cords can become negative only when they have outlived their purpose. Becoming aware of your energetic cords is the first way to help yourself out, to become aware of how many energetic cords you have attached to you. Do you think lifetime cords or just reason and season? Both. I think there are lifetime cords. I think as a parent, at least, you have lifetime cords with your children. I can't imagine ever cutting off those cords, even though, let's be honest, as a parent, 90% of the cord energy is giving for a parent, right? But that's the nature of things. I can't imagine ever letting go of that energetic cord. So I think definitely that is probably a lifetime cord. I think others are, cords for a reason. They're there for a reason, and then you have to learn to let go. And some are there for a season, and then you have to let go. But I definitely think there are also lifetime cords for sure. So bring your how do you become aware? Bring your awareness to these three areas, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. This will allow you to take ownership of your energy. Begin and end each day by scanning your body. Sense where you are in yourself. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. Yes, right. And I'm sure our energetic cords then from my mother, who for me is a toxic person, but because she is my mother, I don't know if I could ever truly cut that cord. Even though, like I should, many times I think, why am I even talking to her still? But she is still my mother, even though She's done some horrible things in her life to me. But I think perhaps there's times that I think I should try to cut that cord for good. But it's not going to happen. She is my mother still. Hi, Dana. Aw, love you too, sweetheart. Begin and end each day by scanning your body. Sense where you are in yourself. Feel your flow of energy. Am I feeding my spirit? So this should be your questioning. Am I feeding my spirit? Am I depleting my spirit? Am I being fluid? In other words, when things come up, am I allowing them to come up and to be? Because what happens is when we have an issue is when we are not allowing what is to be what is. When we're fighting what is already there. This is what has come up. That's what is. If we're fighting that, then that's an issue. That's when we have those issues. Am I in the past? Am I in the present? Or am I in the future? Am I thinking of things too far ahead? Am I thinking of things that have already happened that I'm replaying in my mind? Am I fixated on one person, one place, one thing, or one idea? Am I just fixated? This person has been really pissing me off lately, so I'm fixated on everything. Am I fixated on something, that happened in the past that I'm not able to let go of? Am I in pain? Where is my pain located? What does my pain look like, feel like, sound like? So then the goal there is, how do I let go? Right? Is I've recognized that these cords are present. I have the goal is to then identify where that's coming from. Where is that cord coming from? Is it from a person? Is it from a situation? Is it from a situation that was long ago? Is there cords that I can now say, these are no longer useful. They're just draining me still. And so how can I then let go of those cords that are not there for a purpose anymore? It's essential to ground and center daily. We've talked about that before. Meditation, even if it's like 3 quick breaths, right? 3 long breaths. Feel roots growing out of the bottom of your feet and attaching to the roots of Mother Gaia, the roots within the earth, and just flush anything that is no longer serving you. That's part of it. Ground and center. For, if it's 3 long breaths, ground and center. That will help immensely. Go back into our inner awareness. When we remove energetic cords, we have to remove the source. If you remove the cord but not the cause, then it will just form again. Usually negative cords exist between things that feed our fears and insecurities. Abusive relationships in all their forms are prime contributors to energetic cords. They create a codependency where both parties are feeding off one another energetically. Parasitic ecosystems come to mind. Removing the source of an energetic cord happens by being honest, pinpointing the source of where that cord is. Is that cord coming from someone else and I'm allowing it? Is that cord coming from me and I am pulling from someone else that perhaps I shouldn't be? Naming the emotion, the exchange, or the situation. This is where I am. This is the emotion. This is the exchange. This is, I'm getting something from him, and so I am feeding that and allowing him to drain me here. Releasing the want, need, or the allowance for the attachment. That is the key right there. Releasing the allowance. So when you find it, when you recognize it, when you're honest and when you say, this is it, this is where this cord is coming from, the hard part then is releasing it. To be honest about it and to say, whoa, wait a second. I'm sorry, this exchange, and you can say, I realize that I have contributed to the fact that this exchange is happening, that this is going on. But I need to be honest now and say, I can't do this anymore. This is not an exchange that is feeding my soul, that is feeding my body, that is feeding my mental capacity. This is something that is draining. And I, in turn, am draining you sometimes. We can say, I know I'm draining you too. This can't be acceptable anymore. I have to release this. I have to know that it may be something that this is not going to be easy for me. I'm going to have to stand up and be strong for the first time in my life and say, nope, I cannot allow this anymore. And it's not easy, especially if you have allowed it in the past, if you have allowed it for a long time. If it's something that you have allowed to feed from you, to stand up after it's already been okay and to say, nope, not anymore. This is no longer okay. I cannot allow this anymore. I have to let go of this cord. Jen, you are wise. Oh, it's easy to say, Groon. It's really easy to say, but it's not always easy to do. I'm not going to say that I'm perfect at this. Definitely. I am not. But, you recognize it, you step up and you try to do your best. And that's all we can do. For sure. Forgiving everyone involved as much as possible. Whew, that's a tough one. It's a tough one, especially if it's a long-term situation, if they have fed from you for a long time and pulled your energy from you, it's hard to say, you know what, it's okay. I forgive you for that. That's part of the release, the true release from that cord is to say, I forgive you. It's okay. My tendency is to cut by disappearing, which isn't fair to the other side. Talking about it with them is hard work. Yes. Yes. And then, you know what? Unfortunately, if you don't actually talk to them about it, you may not actually have cut the cord. You are still allowing that energy to flow. But you just have made it so you don't see the cord every day. It's not flapping around in front of you, right? Sealing and protecting your energy body. So the last point of that is to seal the hole that they left. Not easy. It's very purposeful. It's very specific. I will say it's funny. When I became a Reiki master, there was, and I'm pretty sure I did a video on it as I became a Reiki master. I'm not sure where the heck it would be now. I'll try to find it. But as I became a Reiki master, I very clearly saw cords and how to unplug. And something my teacher said when I became a Reiki master was very specific for me, because a lot of people will say, oh, cut the cords. You have to cut the cords. The problem is if you just cut those cords, it's like they're still plugged in. So it's like a hose that you have cut through rather than shut off the water source or unplug the hose. Now it's just flowing your energy all over the place. You didn't actually unplug that energy. So cutting the cords for me is not exactly what I need to do. For me, I very specifically, it sounds funny, but now the Matrix is coming back, right? So it reminded me of the Matrix, where they have a plug on the back of their head, literally, and they literally unplug the cord. It's very visual for me. I have to name the cord. I have to know where it is, and I visually unplug the cord. When I do Reiki now, I will unplug. When I have done Reiki on a specific chakra, I unplug. Actually, when I'm all done, before I finish them, I have done the energy exchanges that I need to do. And I start with every single chakra. I start with the crown chakra, and I unplug and lock that chakra so that is completely closed now. Their energy can go back and forth, but my energy is taken away from them. I have unplugged that and I have locked it. And I go through each chakra as I do Reiki. I go through each chakra to unplug my energy from them. And it's a very purposeful thing on purpose. What was like that? Like it, it was like a definite aha moment for me. It was when she said that, I thought, oh, of course, because if you cut that cord is not necessarily, now you're just spewing your own energy out into the multiverse. It reminded me of a hose. You cut the hose, you didn't turn the water off, psh, it's going all over now. So, of course, you need to actually unplug that. There's, because you want to seal your energy. There is cutting the cords for me, is not the correct thing to do. Hi, space between the notes. It just isn't. That just means that then you're spewing your energy. You're allowing your energy to spew forth, and that's not going to help us. It is, to me, it's not purposeful enough. I have to really meditate and think about closing it off, unplugging, and sealing. And so make it purposeful. When you want to cut a cord from someone, when you want to release a cord from someone else, from a situation, make it a very visual, purposeful thing. Now, some people are not visual people. You still need to somehow visually do your release. And my recommendations are several. You can do a spell with 2 candles, where you put the string together and have one candle on one side and one candle on the other side represent each person or the situation and you. And when the candle flame goes through the string, you can think of it releasing that plug. But do something with the end of the plug. Don't just let it spew. Do something with the end of that plug. If that means you take that string then and bury it, that is your release. If that means you make sure, if you're a fire person, sometimes you want to make sure that entire cord is burned, so there is no cord left. Something so that you very purposefully are visually, mentally, emotionally releasing yourself from that situation, from that person, from that cord that you have had connected. Make sure. And that's what this says too. It talks about, if you can pinpoint the cord, where's that cord getting plugged in? For me, again, it's kind of like the Matrix. It's along my spine usually. That's where my cords seem to plug into. But where exactly is it plugged into? Is it plugged into a chakra? Is it plugged into a specific area? Is it plugged into your heart? Is it plugged into your brain? Is there, can you pinpoint where that is plugged into? If you can pinpoint it, what does it look like? Feel where it is, the consistency, its purpose. Is it thick or thin? Is it rigid, elastic, spongy, wiry? Does it appear as a certain color? Where is it located? Does it have an image held in it? Why does it exist? What was its purpose? Why is it there? Hi, Finesse. And that all of that information you can then use to release it, because you want to release each of it. Is it thick or thin? Okay, so it is a thick cord. So when I go to release it, it's not going to be something easy. Is it plugged in by turning? Is it plugged in like a light switch? How is it plugged in? So then when you're releasing that cord, you use all of that information we just talked about to release that cord. Energetic cords are pipelines. They hold energies which carry images, memories. Visualizing the cord can give you clues as to whom it's connected to. Sometimes just asking spirit, what is the source of the attachment? It's called Tarot for Troubled Times. It's a great book. It's technically about how to use tarot when you're confronting your shadow side. But there's such a great plethora of information from this book, just about shadow in general, that I have really loved it. Then they go through like spreads and stuff to help you with tarot also. But it's such a great book for shadow work in general. I really have enjoyed going through this book. talking out loud. Talk out loud to the person or thing that the cord is connected to. Say in your own time and sacred space what you need to say to release this cord. So again, sometimes, MA, if you are not at a place where you can talk to this person, hi Hexen, hi honey. If you're not in a place where you can talk to this person, you can still talk to this person's spirit. You can still say to them, Steve, I am going to release this cord that we have attached together. It is not good for us. I have allowed this cord to be there for such and such a time for this reason. And at this point, I need to release. And I know that it may not seem as fair for you, for me to release this cord right now, because we have been used to this cord being attached, but I can no longer accept the exchange of energy that is happening here. And I have got to release this. So I forgive you for your part. I thank you for your part in my life. And I now am going to release our cord. I'm now going to release our cord. Just say, the truth is most cords exist because we have not acknowledged our relationship or our connection to it. We have not acknowledged it. We have, even though sometimes we know it's there, right? But we kind of pussyfoot around it. We kind of go, it's okay. It's not that bad. They needed my help, so I let them plug in and drain me. What if you are the person who's being released and you feel it? Tough question. That's hard, especially if you're not ready for it. But if you then feel it, then your recourse, again, part of shadow work is we have pain when we do not accept what is. Our shadows, our anger, our fear, our frustrations, our vulnerabilities come up when we are not accepting what is. So if you are being released, if that cord is being released, it is about learning to accept that it's being released. That is the reality. That is not easy. And through this series, we have talked about sometimes sitting in our own shit, right? Sometimes sitting in the emotion of pain. And our society somewhere along the lines has told us that pain is not acceptable, but that's an untruth. Sometimes stuff is painful and we just have to sit in it for a while in order to accept it. It's not an easy thing. It's not something that I'm going to say we all do wonderfully, for sure. But sometimes we just have to sit in it until we can accept it. The teacher who has been creating beautiful content has found Jesus and has taken down all the content. Oh, that's so hard. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. And there we go. It goes back to, was this cord for a lifetime, for a reason, or for a season? And it sounds like this teacher was here for a reason and maybe for a season. And now that season is over. And unfortunately, we cannot control the tap, right? She has the tap part is on her side or his side. And like she closed the tap, right? And so now, boy, as much as we want her to turn that tap back on, the reality is that's not what has occurred. So now it is about sitting in the pain and the shallowness of being without that teaching, being without that, and accepting that, okay, that teaching was there for a season. And now it's done. And it's not up to us to change her mind or change, that the fact that she shut off that tap, or it is up to us to feel the absence of that, to sit in it for a while and say, I must grieve this loss. Absolutely. Grieve the loss. It's hard. Yes. And there is nothing wrong with grieving that loss. It is hard and it sucks. And again, our society has said that it's not okay to sit in our pain. That if you're having pain, there's something, you shouldn't be having pain. You have to cover it up. You have to hide it. You have to medicate yourself. You have to do something to cover that pain up. It's not okay to ever sit in your pain. That's not true. Sometimes, it's hard and it hurts, and we have to sit in it until we can accept it. And then it's time to release that cord, to step forward, to seek out new teachers, to open up to the universe again and say, okay, now what? What's the next thing? What do you have for me next? Where am I going from here? I get angry at myself for getting angry. It's hard. It is definitely hard. But that anger is pain. It's loss. It's sorrow. It's okay to feel that. Absolutely, it's okay to feel that. Oh, that's rough. Also, when someone does that, it can feel like they think we're doing something bad, right? Yes. That's one of my shadow reactions. Hi, oracles. You are welcome, honey. And I hope you know, message me if you want. I'm always here. I'm a shoulder. I got big Viking shoulders. You can cry on my shoulders. It's okay. Accepting. It's so hard to accept what is. And that is such a big part of learning to live in the present moment that we are in. That's why the tattoo on my leg, the big tattoo on my leg, says embrace the place where you live. This moment right here. Embrace this moment. Eckhart Tolle teaches to embrace the place where life happens, which is this actual moment, as if we had chosen it. Even if it's not really what we wanted, even if we can't control the other side of that, to learn to say this moment, okay, this came to me so that I could learn a lesson. That's not easy. And I'm not here to say, how dare you not be able to do that? Believe me, every day I have to come forward and say, okay, what's going on that I need to accept today? But if we can step outside ourselves enough to look at it and say, okay, they were here for a season. I have to learn to accept this. What do I need to go through in order to do that? I need to cry for a while. It's this, wow, this hurts. I've lost something. You have lost something. I need to know that there's no energy exchange anymore. As much as I want that plug to be there, there's nothing coming from the other side. Accept that. Do what you have to do to get through that. Hi, Pookie. I'm sorry. Yes, it's hard. I love what you were saying about the cords. It really helps me understand what happened and why I'm so emotional. Absolutely. It's a loss. It's definitely a loss. For sure. They were here for the last 10 years. So it's a big loss. It's a big loss in your life. So allow yourself to feel that. Understand that nothing says you have to accept it with happy face and yay, everything is wonderful. Oh, that's not the way it works. Absolutely, it's not the way it works. I really, really wish it was. But that's not the way it is. Sometimes we have to allow ourselves to feel that. Yes. Meditation. Oh, so much yes. Yes, and yes. Getting it out in the open is the only sure way to release the attachment. Sometimes writing the source of your energetic cord can offer a chance to acknowledge. Absolutely. Hi, Mikey. Forgive and unplug. Journal about where you are in life. Drawing attention and creating awareness about the state of life, about your state of life, gives you power. Energetically speaking, you are creating your own reality at some level. So, and your relationship to it. You want to consciously manifest the life you want. Mental, emotional work shines light into these areas and empowers you. You may also want to try the following meditation. And you know what? I'm not going to read the meditation because it's here. I will show it so you can screenshot it. Come back and screenshot it if you want to try the meditation. Try to hold it still if I can. all of my shaking. So then hopefully you can screenshot that and do the meditation if you want. And that hopefully will empower you to cut those energetic cords. So this being the last of the shadow work videos for the year, I want to say thank you all for following it, for contributing, for being here through all of the painful process that is shadow work. And I want to congratulate you all. You all have done wonderful work. You all have stepped forward to seek out your shadows. That's not an easy thing, even if your only thing is seeking out the shadows that you're in. Good for you, really. Good for you. Good for us. Good for all of us. It is not an easy process. So yippee for all of you. From here, we are going to let go of the shadow work and move forward. I have, a list of things that I want to begin to teach again in the new year. I don't want to say I'm taking a break because it's really not a break. In the new year, I will be back and we will start more things. I will be reading some Yule stories between now and Tuesday night. We'll be on reading stories. I'm not really taking a break. I might be kind of after Monday. I think I am taking a little bit of a break, like 4 or 5 days, maybe. And then after that, there'll be a lot of things coming in the new year that I'm really excited about. So stay tuned because more things are coming and we're going to learn more together and keep moving forward. Let it go. Let it go. Don't forget the 28th, Tuesday the 28th is the admin's New Year's reading. We're doing free readings on this channel. All of my admins and I are going to be pulling cards for you for the new year to see what's coming for your new year. It should be really fun. I'm really excited about this Tuesday of cool readings. And then we'll go from there. Yule, the night of Yule, I have several people spending the night. We're going to be staying awake all night. But so I'm sure we'll be coming on and lighting candles, and I have a specific meditation to do with you all and talking about what Yule is and what Yule isn't. And so stay tuned on Tuesday night. There'll be lots of stuff coming on the channel. We're going to come on several times, I'm sure, during the night of Yule and do some cool things. You did agree. Stephen, it was your idea. Agree to it. You came up with it. So lots of fun, though. Lots of fun things. We are having some great things coming up. So stay tuned. I'm excited. We are turning a corner, I think, to a better year and moving forward into energies that we are choosing, which I think is pretty cool. All right. Click the like button for me on your way out. Thank you all for coming. I kept this under an hour. I don't know how that happened. I never keep videos under an hour. So thank you guys so much. I'm so happy with where this channel is at and where I see it going. I'm really excited about it. Yes, yes, yes. Mwah! So thank you guys. I love you all. Have a great night. Get excited for Yule. We're almost there. Yay! Longest night. Good night.